All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of us crazy, the budget that just will not stick. You know the feeling, right? You start a new month, you've got your spreadsheet, you've got the app, you are filled with hope. And then 2 weeks later, it's all gone off the rails. If that sounds familiar, I promise you are definitely not alone. And it's probably not even your fault.
And get this, it's not just a feeling. It's actually backed by research. A study in the Financial Services Review found that even when students took financial education courses, their actual financial literacy didn't really improve. That tells us something huge. Just knowing the rules of budgeting isn't nearly enough. So, what's the missing piece?
Well, here's the core of the problem. Most financial advice jumps straight to the how. You know, the mechanics, the spreadsheets, the apps, the 50-30-20 rule. It tells you how to budget before you've taken a single second to understand who you are when it comes to money.
And that's exactly why our first step has to be a little bit of self-discovery. We need to figure out your natural, kind of unconscious approach to money. Let's call it your money personality.
You know, psychologists actually have a name for these internal rule books we all carry around. They're called money scripts. Think about it. They're these subconscious beliefs we picked up from our parents, our culture, our first jobs, and they are quietly running the show on every single financial decision we make. Understanding them, that's the whole game. So first up, let's meet the saver. If you're someone who gets a genuine thrill, like a real rush from watching your bank balance go up, if finding an amazing deal makes your entire week, then this is probably you. For you, money equals security. And then on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, we have the spender. For you, money is a tool for joy, for experiences, for living life right now. You love being generous, and you get that same little buzz whether you're buying a new car or just a fancy coffee. It's all about enjoying the present. And of course, it's not just one or the other. There's a whole spectrum in between, right? You might be a risk taker, someone who gets totally energized by big, bold ideas and the chance of a huge payoff. Or you could be a security seeker, the type who needs a 5-page plan and weeks of research before buying a new toaster. Figuring out where you land is the first big step. Now, here's what's so important to get from this. Neither of these personalities is good or bad. They're just different. Savers are amazing at building a secure future, but sometimes they can be so anxious about money they forget to actually live. And spenders, they're incredibly generous and really know how to enjoy life, but they can slide into debt pretty easily. It's all about understanding your natural challenges.
Okay, so you're starting to get a handle on your money personality. That's the who. Awesome. But that's really only half the battle. Now we need to plug that into your motivation. We have to find your why.
And that's a fair question, right? Just knowing you're a spender doesn't magically make you want to open a retirement account. That's where this next piece of the puzzle is absolutely crucial. And boom, here it is. This is the real secret sauce. Lasting, powerful motivation doesn't come from a guilt trip or a complicated spreadsheet. It comes from connecting your daily financial habits to the things that you care about most in the world, your core values. So just take a second and look at this list. What really jumps out at you? Is it freedom, the idea of being able to travel or quit a job you hate? Maybe it's stability, just knowing deep down that your family will always be okay. Because when you stop saying, I have to save money, and you start saying, I am investing in my freedom, the entire game changes. All right, so we've got the who, your personality. We've got the why, your values. Now, and only now, are we ready to talk about the how. It's time to build a plan that's actually going to work for you. But we're not going to use some rigid, one-size-fits-all budget that makes you miserable. No, we're going to use a really powerful framework that's been around for ages called SMART goals. This is a tool that's specifically designed to turn those big, vague dreams into something concrete and real. So let's just quickly break this down. A SMART goal has to have 5 key ingredients. It has to be specific, not just some fuzzy idea. It needs to be measurable, so you know exactly when you've hit the target. Achievable, meaning it's actually realistic for your life right now. Relevant, and this is the big one, it has to connect directly back to one of your core values. And finally, time-bound, which means giving it a deadline. So check out the difference here. Instead of a vague goal like, I want to save more, a SMART goal sounds like this. I will save $3,000, that's measurable, for a down payment on a car, that's specific, by setting aside $250 a month for the next 12 months, that's achievable and time-bound, because having a reliable car will provide stability for my family, and there it is. That's relevant. See how much more powerful that is? And all of this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway of this whole thing. Think about it. A budget that tells a natural spender to never ever eat out is just a list of rules that are begging to be broken. But a financial plan that gives that same spender a dedicated fun money goal, one that's aligned with their value of enjoying life, well, that's not a list of rules. That's a roadmap they'll actually want to follow.
And that really is the secret. You don't have to fight who you are. A saver doesn't need to force themselves to become a spender or vice versa. The goal is simply to understand your own nature and then build a system that plays to your strengths and, just as importantly, puts up some guardrails for your weaknesses.
So from now on, instead of asking if your budget is working, maybe the better question to ask is your budget working for you? Now that you have the framework, what story are you going to make your money tell?